Of all the battles in the medieval age, Agincourt is among the best known. And of all the times English armies clashed with French, it was the most terrible.
We all grow up in England reading about the Battle of Agincourt. We learn about it at school, we see it at the theatre. And to some extent, it's part of our national identity now.
I think for most people, the Battle of Agincourt is Shakespeare's Battle of Agincourt. The play, Henry V, written in 1599, possibly the first play at the Globe Theatre when it was newly built.
40 miles south of Calais in northern France, the Normandy fields lie silent. Nowhere more so than around the tiny village known as Agincourt. These fields hide secrets that have puzzled historians and archaeologists for many years.
We think we know everything about the Battle of Agincourt, and that's one of the problems, because what we really know is very little. And so we need to look for the truth. That's what we need to be aiming for.
Battlefield archaeology is a relatively new academic discipline. Archaeologists like Tim Sutherland are uncovering new data on medieval battles in a way that documentary research alone cannot. Tim has investigated many medieval battle sites and located the last resting places of many of the nameless men who lost their lives. But Agincourt is a thorn in his side. Thousands are thought to have died somewhere here, yet no mass grave nor a single skeleton can now be found. The battlefield and its lost dead have come to haunt and obsess Tim.
What we need to consider now is where are the dead from the battle? Are they in the immediate vicinity, or are they nowhere near here? So somewhere around here there are thousands of the dead from the Battle of Agincourt, but we just can't find any traces of them yet.
Tim's quest to find the Agincourt graves is inextricably linked with his research into another historical figure who lived 400 years after Agincourt. John George Woodford is Tim's archaeological forebear and an enigma of a man. A British Army officer, Woodford supposedly located some of the graves from Agincourt. Tim has been trying to work out where. It's a detective trail that he's been on for more than a decade. In the years after Waterloo and Napoleon's defeat in 1815, the British Army remained in France. There was no more fighting to be done, and so instead, Woodford could turn his attention to his passion for antiquities and history. In 1818, he took a company of his soldiers with the intention of exercising them in the new art of archaeology. Their objective, not far away, was the battlefield of Agincourt. Over the years, Tim has become captivated with the tantalizing accounts of what Woodford found at Agincourt. He was one of the first archaeologists, and perhaps the first battlefield archaeologist. He claimed to have found not only bones, but arrowheads, rings, and a gold coin. As such, these are the only archaeological finds from the battle ever recorded. The problem is, where did he find them? After a long search, Tim has found some of the letters and the sketches Woodford made of the finds. But the trail ran dry, as the key papers were thought to have been lost in a fire. Now he's found that some of the Woodford collection may have survived. To investigate, he heads north. Woodford lived out his days in the Lake District. An eccentric antiquarian, he lived in a house overlooking Derwent Water, surrounded by his notes, letters, and artifacts, maybe including some of those he found at Agincourt. But when he died, it was all split up, and much of it was lost. Tim has found that part of this scattered material has come to light in Keswick Museum in Cumbria.
Well, hopefully, we're going to examine one of Woodford's diaries, or his notebooks, and hopefully it will contain some information we're after concerning his excavations on the battlefield of Agincourt.
At the time of his death in 1879, Woodford was a Major General, the last British officer still surviving from the Battle of Waterloo. He and his brother Alexander served in the British Army of the Duke of Wellington. Many of the letters and papers in the archive relate to this time in Woodford's life.
It makes me wonder whether Woodford was as interested in Agincourt because he fought at Waterloo. This was his own personal huge battle. Waterloo meant a great deal, obviously, because he was English and they were victorious, but also he was there with his brother, part of his family, and then there's a sort of an anticlimax after anything major, but something the size of Waterloo, this battle. It must have been a massive anticlimax afterwards. And how do you fill your time after something like that that's taken over your whole life? And so what he does is he goes to visit another famous battlefield, which isn't far, and goes to Agincourt, starts to map the terrain, make a grand plan. Then he actually gets permission to carry out an excavation on the site of the battlefield, and he's very successful. He finds a mass grave and he finds artifacts related to the battle in the mass grave.
The map, the finds, all enticing. But up to now, Tim hasn't been able to find the all-important evidence. Can these notebooks reveal a clue?
This is his private notebook. He's not expecting it to be published. In his day, he was almost unique. He was walking around doing what I would consider battlefield archaeology. He was going to certain sites and he was recording what he saw and what was there to record, including carrying out small excavations. And at Agincourt, this is crucial because in 1818, this is one of the first times this ever happens and is on record as happening. All the little key elements that we need to pinpoint his excavations at Agincourt are just not here yet. I've still not found them. And maybe they just don't exist any longer. There's definitely a page missing because it starts in the middle of a sentence, which means that this is not all the original book. How much is missing? That's the crucial thing.